Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We're just getting people in. We're waiting to get started. As we're waiting, go ahead and say hi in the chat. You can also go ahead and change your name. So make sure that your first name and your last name is visible. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So welcome everybody. Thanks for being here today. This is the Picky to Curious PD workshop, engaging students in cafeteria food exploration. This workshop is going to run from 1 to 2 p.m. today. And go ahead to the next slide, please. Thank you. My name is Laura. I'm the program manager at FoodStream Learn. FoodStream Learn we are proud partners with the Office of Food and Nutrition and New York City Public Schools. We're a vendor that supports educators in bridging the gap between classroom and the cafeteria. We offer hands-on education programming. Our goal and our mission is to help students build healthier relationships with food through programs such as in-school cooking, gardening, and real-world exploration. So our purpose today is to explore how educators such as yourselves can transform everyday cafeteria moments into opportunities for curiosity, connection learning, and helping students move from picky to curious. This is an overview of New York City Public School priorities in partnership with the Office of Food and Nutrition Services, as well as the Office of Energy and Sustainability. So we work closely with these two offices to support their initiatives to advance student engagement with school meals through culturally relevant, nutritious, and appealing menus, as well as with the Office of Energy and Sustainability in helping to promote zero waste and implement a sustainability plan with programs such as composting, green teams, and waste reduction. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this in our workshop today. This is our overview of what we do in alignment with these offices and the initiatives that we're working towards. All right, and with that, I'm going to introduce Danielle Beard. She's our facilitator for today. Go ahead, take it away, Danielle.
All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to From Picky to Curious. I'm so glad you're here. I know how full your days are, so thank you for taking the time to join the session. We'll be spending the next hour exploring ways to turn those everyday cafeteria moments when the student says, I don't eat that, into opportunities for curiosity, connection, and care. So before we get started, please go ahead and drop your name. I know some of you already did that, your name, your school, your district, and the position in the chat. This just helps us know who's in the room. Okay. All right, and just a quick note, attendance credit will be handled at the end of the session. So make sure you stay through the closing for those links. All right, so we're going to move on to professional development agenda. Perfect. Okay. So here's what we'll be exploring today. We'll start by setting the stage and looking at why food curiosity matters, why those small reactions we see from students can tell us so much. Then we'll step into the menu from the student perspective, what they see, what they think, and what influences their choices. From there, we'll dig into practical ways to engage students, everything from feedback to cultural connection to simple incentives that make a huge and big difference. By the end of the session, you'll leave with 1 or 2 small actions you can try this week, things that build curiosity, confidence, and care around food in your students. All right. Okay, so before we dive in, I want to just share a little bit about who I am and why this topic means so much to me. So I'm Danielle Baird. My journey with the New York City Department of Education started over a decade ago, first in the classroom and now as a food service manager. Along the way, I've also had the chance to serve as a nutrition educator with FoodStream Learn which is the DOE approved program that brings hands-on cooking, gardening, and food literacy into schools across the city. Through both roles, I've been able to see just how powerful food education really can be, not just for students' health, but for their confidence, their curiosity, and connection to what they eat. When students feel involved, when they get to taste, explore, and ask questions, it completely changes their relationship with food. That's really what inspires the session. Today isn't about adding more to your plate. It's about helping you see how small intentional shifts can make a big impact on your students' engagement and school culture. So let's keep that in mind and let's take a quick look at what we're focusing on today. Learning objective. So here's what we're going to walk away with today. First, we'll look at how to identify common barriers that keep students from trying new foods. Those everyday moments when curiosity shuts down before it even has a chance to start. Next, we'll explore small, practical ways to create more curiosity, both in the classroom and in the cafeteria. That might mean a quick classroom reflection, a visual chart, or even a fun activity that connects what's being taught to what's being served. And finally, we'll look at how to take these ideas back to your school with strategies that are realistic for your schedule, your students, and your team. The goal isn't to overhaul what you're already doing. It's to strengthen those little bridges that already exist between classroom and learning and cafeteria behavior. So as we move through each section, think about one or two things you can try right away, something that feels doable this week, not months from now. Okay. So let me ask, what do you think students skip trying? Why do you think students skip trying new foods? Let's take a quick second to reflect. You could drop a word or phrase in the chat. If you feel like raising your hand and answering, we have people that will respond. There we go. I love it. Appearance, picky, yep, taste, not familiar with food.
They're not used to the new things. They got used to being in their little bubble.
Exactly. Exactly. Anyone else want to share out?
Yeah, I say the same thing. New foods is scary.
It is. It's new to them. And that's what today is about. It's understanding the why behind the hesitation, so we can create experiences that make trying new foods feel safe, familiar, and even fun. Once we understand that mindset, we can start shifting it. So let's look at what curiosity can actually do for our students, not just in the cafeteria, but in how they think and learn overall. So when kids take a small risk, like trying new food, they're building confidence and openness. That same skill that supports success everywhere else. Food curiosity opens doors to connection, conversation, and understanding. It teaches empathy and resilience in such an everyday way. And here's the best part. It doesn't require a new curriculum or a program. It's about using that moment we already have, what we see, what we model, and what we notice to make food exploration feel natural, fun, and meaningful. So how do we move forward from awareness to action? Let's look at a few simple ways to bring, not yet, how to bring curiosity to life right in the classroom and cafeteria now. Okay, maybe it's taste, maybe it's routine, maybe it's just that they see something unfamiliar and think, nope. What do you notice most? Is it hesitation, peer influence? You could drop what your thoughts are in the chat. Lack of familiarity. You could share out if you like. Culture. Afraid to try, yeah. Now, how might you turn those hesitations into curiosity? Doesn't have to be a big change, just maybe it's starting a quick class conversation, celebrating a theme food day, or asking students what they notice about what's being served. Again, you can share out if you like, or write in the chat. Oh, I love these. Exactly, yep. Still, yep. So you guys are noticing the small things that make a difference, and that's important. And that's where curiosity starts, one moment at a time. So we're going to go into engagement strategies. All right, so now that we've talked about some of the barriers, let's get into the fun part. A few real strategies that you can use to turn that hesitation into curiosity. These are simple engagement ideas that actually work. They don't need a big budget or a huge rollout, just a little creativity and consistency. So first we have food nutrition education. This can be as simple as using a quick mini lesson tied to what's on the menu that week. Maybe it's a short, did you know about whole grains, or a quick look at where a certain fruit comes from. We can weave it into reading, science, or math, so students see food as something they can learn about, not just something that shows up on the tray. Next is food critic. I love this because it gives students a voice. You can create short food critic cards where they rate a new item and write on quick comments. You know, you might hear something like, it's spicy but good, or better than I expected. You can post a few on a bulletin board, hang them in the cafeteria, or share one or two during announcements. It just makes trying new things feel like they're being part of a tasting team. And next is taste tests. They are always a hit. You can do them in the classroom or in the cafeteria with just two options: 2 fruits, 2 dips, or 2 veggies. The students taste, they vote, then they graph the results together. It's very hands-on, it hits your standards, and it gets them talking about foods in a positive way. And that's what we're looking for. That's what we want. And then another easy win is always the menu voting board. All you need is a board, a question, and some stickers or markers. Something like, which veggies should we feature next week? Or which salsa would we bring back? The students vote, and then you use those results to help guide an actual menu choice. Once they see their votes, show up on the line and shift from the school menu to our menu. Next up is Culture Food Days. So this builds community and belonging. You can connect it to Heritage Month, holidays, or classroom themes. So you invite your students to share foods or stories from home, spotlight 1 or 2 dishes each month. It opens up the space for pride and conversation and discovery, and kids light up when they see their culture represented. Student food teams is another one. These might help lead taste tests, make posters, share food facts of the week, help welcome younger students into the cafeteria. It gives students leadership roles and help them feel like partners in creating a positive food culture instead of just guests passing through. And then finally, we have composting and green teams. Now, if your school has a green team or a compost crew, you can link it to food education by having your students track how much waste they're reducing and celebrate those wins on a hallway chart. Even a small role like helping sort bins correctly. That connects curiosity about food to caring for the environment. So none of these have a giant change. They don't have to be a giant change. You can start with one small strategy, one class, one lunch period. The more students feel involved and heard, the more likely they are to move from I don't want that to okay, I'll try that. And that's where the shift from picky to curious really starts. All right, so let's start in the classroom because that's really where curiosity begins. And we all know here are a few simple ways to build that bridge, right? So we have read books that explore food and culture. This lets the students make connection between what they're reading and what's on their plate. They can begin gratitude reflections before lunch, something short and mindful like, one thing I'm thankful for today is we can create class posters that promote curiosity and kindness around food. I've seen schools make food of the month or try something new boards, and students actually love these ideas. They love to see their ideas out for everybody to see. Then we could try simple, tasty recipes that tie into your lessons, like quick no-cook snacks can be a fun way to explore ingredients and teamwork. And then we have plant seeds together, literally. Watching food grow sparks so much curiosity and a deep appreciation from where the food comes from. So these might seem small, but they actually spark big shifts, helping students move from curiosity to confidence. From what is this to, again, let me try it. So now that we've seen what it looks like in the classroom, let's see how we could work it in the cafeteria. What we model and talk about in the classroom carries right into how our students act at lunch. Am I right? When students in cafeteria teams reinforce the same values, curiosity, gratitude, and respect, that's where real change happens. Here are a few easy ways to make that connection come alive. So first we have encourage students to thank cafeteria staff. This really builds appreciation and helps them see the people behind the meals that they enjoy every day. Highlight your shared table and explain why it matters. This is such a great way to teach about reducing waste and helping others. I've seen a lot of schools do this, and then a lot of more schools are getting involved in this, and this is really awesome. Then we have create student green teams or lunch helpers to keep the space tidy and organized. So students take pride in ownership when they're part of the process, and that's what this gives them. And after lunch, we can do a quick food explorer moment. Ask a simple question like, what did you try today? That one line can open up for such fun conversation and normalizing trying new things. So when students see that curiosity and value everywhere in the classroom and in the cafeteria, it becomes part of the school culture. They start to connect food with learning, kindness, and community. And that's what we're looking for. So next we'll look into another way to strengthen those connections through composting, turning waste into learning opportunity. So in the classroom, you can link composting to science lessons, decomposition, soil health, life cycles, or even using math or graphing to track how much food waste your class reduces each week. So another simple idea is run a short food waste detective challenge. Have your students observe what ends up in the trash most often and see why. Let's talk about this. You'll be surprised to see how quickly they start coming up with their own solutions. And then after lunch, we could try a quick reflection. Let's say, what could we have saved today? That one question gets students thinking about waste in a meaningful way. Exactly, it's an amazing idea for the ACE program. Next, we'll see how these same composting ideas carry over into the cafeteria, turning into everyday actions. So once students understand composting in class, the cafeteria really comes to life. You can create a green team or compost crew, which is just a few students, leaders who help guide their peers on what goes where. It gives them ownership and pride and keeps their space clean. Use clear, friendly signs that show the difference between compost and landfill items. Visuality really helps. And make it fun, celebrate progress with quick shout outs, maybe a weekly tracker or a simple we've saved this much waste chart. All those things matter. You can also tie into classroom projects like growing herbs, vegetables in compost, enrich soil. So when students see the food they once tossed actually helping something grow, it changes how they view waste completely. It's small steps like these that build lifelong habits. where students realize my choice matters even at lunch. So now let's talk about how this could work in your setting. All right, so we're gonna take a few minutes to make this feel real. You've just seen a few ways to build curiosity in the cafeteria. So now I want you to think about your own students and what might get in the way for them. So we're going to head out into breakout rooms for a bit to talk about this together. This is a chance to connect with other educators, share what's happening in your schools, and bounce ideas around. To make this easy, I've dropped a quick link in the chat. I'm going to drop it now. It has your group name, the 3 reflection questions, and a space for a person to jot down your team's thoughts. So the questions are, what's one food barrier your students face most often? Then it's, what could help turn that barrier into curiosity and connection?
Just because I noticed people have started, but I'm gonna put everyone into breakout rooms right now. So once you're in your breakout rooms, then you'll find your slide that's the same number as your breakout room. And then you can collaborate with your team there.
Okay, you'll have about 8 to 10 minutes in your breakout rooms, and the team and I will pop in.
So it's not the link that's in there then?
I'm sorry?
It's not the link that's posted in there?
Yeah, we're using that link. But once you get into your breakout room, you're gonna find the slide that's the same number as your breakout room.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And if you haven't found this yet, please look at the chat. You'll find the link there.
Yes, and we'll be popping in, listening to your great ideas, coming up with suggestions if you need. So, all right, I think Laura, when you're ready, you can go ahead and open up those breakout rooms, and I'll see you all back here in about 8 to 10 minutes.
That was a lot of fun.
Hi, Rich, welcome back.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, I think we're all back, right? All rooms are closed. Everybody's back, do we know?
Yeah, everyone's back.
Perfect.
All, all 222 of you.
All right, well, welcome back, everyone. I hope your breakout conversations were helpful. I could already tell from the few rooms that we popped in that there's a lot of creative ideas being shared. So let's take a few moments here and we'll have a few share outs. Each team should have someone ready to share, one takeaway, one strategy, or aha moment that you guys discussed. So we could start calling out on teams. Or unless you want to share out, you're more than welcome to. If you feel like you're ready to just go. If not, we'll just start calling out on the teams.
I'm willing to go if we were group 17.
Yes, please.
I wouldn't call it an aha because it's quite sad. We all have the same issue mostly, and that's access to food and the food insecurities that these children are experiencing. It's not about really trying something new when you don't even have access to the food to begin with.
That's rough. Yes. Yeah, that's
For our group in group 1, our kind of aha moment was we realized our students need to eat the food, right? As you just said from the previous one who shared, but the people behind cooking it have to have a passion for what they're doing. So once they lose that passion, the students kind of don't enjoy the food that they are serving anymore. So they're less likely to eat it. So hopefully when they have good people cooking behind, they have a good menu going forward.
I'm going to say, sadly, our food in the cafeteria is these prepackaged things that are just being heated. They're not getting food.
Wow.
Being cooked in the building.
Oh, we gotta spruce up your cafeteria. And I mean, to speak to what you were saying, Serena, you're so correct. It's just like teaching. You have to have the passion to want to teach. It's the same way you have to have the passion to want to cook for these kids. So you're absolutely correct.
And just to build on that, access is so important. It's the first thing. So access to food is the first thing. And once you have food in your belly, then you can think properly about the next step in your life. So with us, it's always like if we're running a program, even before we get started, we'll have some snacks on the side because we know those kids are coming into our lessons hungry.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's because if they're hungry, they're not going to be able to concentrate. So and you're right, especially with SNAP disappearing, that's affecting a lot of families and a lot of children at school right now. And actually, schools are perfect places for children to be right now because they still have access to food from the cafeteria.
That's such a great point.
I would like to go from breakout room 20.
Okay.
All the way at the other end.
I'm sorry, how do you say it? I don't want to butcher your name, my love. I'm sorry.
Asia.
Naija. All right, Naija, go ahead.
So a couple of the things that we discovered that's going on in our school community. It's a cultural thing. It could be so some of the students will 9 times out of 10 bring lunch from home based on their culture or based on what they do, what they've been doing for, you could say, 15 years from home. Some of these things are peer pressured. So if John sees Katie eating snack or her favorite snack or whatever, and they see another kid, Jeremy, on the other side eating, school food, they're not gonna, and it's school food, especially, as our other coworkers on here said that, some nine times out of 10, the school food is nasty. John and Katie is not gonna want to eat what they're eating. They're gonna want to eat their snacks. Um, a lot of my cohorts members said that they're waiting till they get home. So a lot of times where we have kids that wait till they get home to eat. And some of it is texture sensory issues. I deal with high school, so you already know my kids are set in their ways. So it's no way half of the time we can get our kids to eat. We have I have a mixed population, so it's autistic and ED. So sometimes that the big kids are, sometimes wanting to eat their own snacks, and then the other kids, they have sensory issues. So it depends. But we try
Right.
to, encourage them, like if there's for the kids with sensory issues, that if there's nothing else to eat, we try to at least, I wouldn't say bribe them, but try to give them a snack of their favorite, and then tell them, okay, once you do this, first a then board. So once you do this, then you can get this snack. If you taste this broccoli, then you can get a gummy bear, so.
Right. And that's it right there. That's that turning that barrier from curiosity to connection. And that's what we're looking for. Anybody have some more barriers that we're
Sorry,
turning to curiosity?
and just to build on that, it's interesting. It's like actually, there's quite often there's not a one size fits all solution. I think that's what what came out for me when you were saying that, and it really does like it needs some attentive care around each pupil, exactly with other methods of learning and teaching and training. They all have their different nuances, and once you find those nuances, you can crack the code, but it just takes time. Sorry, Danielle.
No, you're fine, Mitch. Anybody have a few? We'll take a few more of some of the, the turning points of turning that.
Yes, I was part of group 17.
17.
Sorry, 16.
All right, Chanel.
Yes, we were mentioning it's a lot of texture and appearance. I am part of District 75, so we do deal with a lot of autistic kids, which do have an issue with the texture. Another thing that a lot of people were mentioning was sometimes the food touching itself is a challenge for our kids. It can be, a lot of times I'll notice kids taking the cheese out of the pizza. They want it separately. Some solutions would be offering separate plates. We obviously do want to encourage curiosity for the food, but sometimes, a fed child is the best. So sometimes catering to their needs is one of the most important things. Also, cultural barriers. I've noticed a lot of kids do have a challenge with trying different foods that are outside of their cultural understanding or knowledge. Sometimes they offer Indian options on Fridays, no meat Fridays, and that's one of the food that I see goes into the trash most of the time because there's not a lot of knowledge. So some of my peers were saying they would love to see the food be showcased in class, or be part of of the lesson plan where they can see it in class, see how it's made, see what ingredients go into it, just really showcasing what the process, and just broadening their understanding of really what it is that they're eating, because maybe they've never seen it before.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And all of these are fantastic. So I just want to thank you all for being so open and sharing what's happening in your schools. It's very inspiring to see so many different approaches that still share the same goal, helping students build curiosity and care around these foods. All right, so I want you to think about what's realistic for you right now. What's one or two barriers you could start to tackle this week? Maybe it's try out a small classroom taste test, starting a gratitude moment before lunch, or checking in with your cafeteria staff about what's being served. If your school has a green team or coordinator, this could be a great time to partner up with them for even something small. You don't need a full plan to make an impact. Sometimes it's just one intentional action that gets the conversation going. All right, so I also encourage you to gather quick feedback from your students. Ask them what they tried, what surprised them, what they'd like to see next. Kids love knowing that their voice matters. So everything we talked about today, from curiosity to composting, this really comes down to creating those small moments of those connections. And those moments stacked together change school cultures. Okay. All right, so on this slide, you'll find some great classroom tools like the My Plate poster and the Be a Food Critic activity, which are perfect for sparking fun, managing conversations about healthy choices. The USDA and NYC composting initiatives also have resources that support food waste reduction and sustainability rights in your building. So to the right, you'll see a few quick classroom and cafeteria ideas. They're simple, ready to try steps like starting a food waste detective challenge, adding a quick gratitude reflection before lunch, or forming a green team to track waste and encourage students to try new foods. Again, it's these small shifts, whether in the classroom or the cafeteria, these will bring strong sense of community and curiosity for kids around food. So I think we'll be able to drop a few of these links in the chat so you can explore them more later on your own time. And before we finish up, I'll also share the attendance and the survey form. I know you guys have been asking for it, that you do need to complete to get the full credit for the PD. Please, this is the survey. You need to complete the survey before you complete the attendance. We will be able to tell when everyone has completed it, and then we will send the attendance link. This is the link for the attendance and to get the CTLE credit. The previous screen, and then we also shared the links in the chat for the survey and the attendance. Both have been shared now.